to ask you how the coaching, this is our last call basically after the 6-week coaching, and I wanted to ask you how the coaching had gone for you.
Yeah, really interesting. I think I've got some real takeaways that I can use. I think going back to the beginning, if I can remember it about, eating, a lot of it's about healthy habits, so eating. So the fruit piece was a revelation for me because I love fruit. But I hadn't eaten fruit very much at all because I had a personal trainer who told me it was the devil's food. So I'd not allowed myself fruit, and it's actually quite a delight to have fruit sort of 3 times a day.
And not put on 10 tons of weight, which you were told you would if you had it.
Yeah, exactly. And eating green, always put something green with everything you're eating, which is really easy to follow. So I like that. The other piece that works really well for me as well is the managing the inner voice and this negative talk. So I think we were just saying, quite often when I take the dog for a walk, I would be walking, but I would be talking to myself about something that had happened or something that could have happened, a what if thing, and my brain is going, and it's all this negative energy. And the technique with the rose of, trying to identify this negative or this feeling and giving it a color, wrapping it around like the candy floss, and then throwing it mentally away, and then filling your heart space with a white light. That for me, actually, interestingly, has worked really well, and I
it's amazing as an exercise.
Yeah. I think the thing is, which is more remarkable, is I recognize when it's happening sooner, and I recognize that it's not a great thing, so that I deal with it that way.
I think that comes from, if you don't know what to do with something, you push it away because you're like, I can't deal with this now. I can't, because what are you going to do with it? I feel terrible. I've got this voice in my head. Whereas if you have a tool to fix it, then you're like, oh, okay, let me just fix it and move on. So I think that does help a lot.
Well, it's just always there. And you just that, like, what's
well,
that?
Not anymore.
I don't know what to do with it. So now it's gone. So now actually my brain is like, almost empty. No. The other thing I've started doing, which is quite a revelation as well, is my journal. So I know you spoke about a journal fairly early on in the program, and it kind of reminded me of a diary when I was 8, and I just didn't fit well. But I spent time thinking about it because you mentioned it a few times on the sessions that we've had. And I spent time to find the right first journal.
Yeah.
So
it's super pretty.
Was like, don't get anything that's really thick as well. But it had to be something special. It had to look nice. So I finally found a really nice one, and I customized it. And
what does it say on the top?
So it says on the top, it says be, feel, receive, and it says healthy habits and rhythm, to remind me of, and I quite often now I'm like, I sort of say be, feel, receive, or try and receive positive things, and it just helps me with the habits and trying to get into a rhythm. I'm not quite there with that yet, but I have started doing my journal. I try and do my yoga in the morning. I always have my green, so yeah, it's coming.
So what do you find the most surprising about because I'll tell you what I find that I like the most about what you've done. So you tell me what you found the most surprising about it. Because it's a very short coaching period, really. It's 6 weeks.
It is, and actually eating wasn't my main driver. I think it's just overall health, and as an individual, I feel lighter. I feel like I have less baggage. I feel more open to receiving, and I think I feel just more self-aware and more relaxed, more contented. I think, and I think that's a combination of a lot of different things. And I think it's enabled me to open my mind to new things.
Yeah.
And opportunities in business have come along, I think, because I'm more relaxed, I'm less stressed, I'm just open, and actually probably generally just a nicer person.
Well, because if you're not in so much stress and pain, you are always nicer because you're calmer, aren't you? Yeah. The thing that I like about what you've done is that you've kind of taken your business brain and then finally applied it to your personal life. Because when one of the sessions we had, and I was like, but you do this at business, why can't you do it at home? And when we first spoke, you hadn't seen it like that. Yes. But you took duck to water, comes to mind with that. And you've just literally picked it and gone with it. And I think that's phenomenal.
I think it's like anything in a program, isn't it? You have to pick off what works for you. You're not 100% the stuff's going to work. Do you know what I mean? But you know, like for instance, do you remember the guy on what was it? A link to some guy talking, and I thought I had got the right link, and I was like, "What is this?" And you were like, "No, you just have it running," and I'm like, "No, it's some guy talking." I'm like, "I don't want to listen to that." I'm like, "No, that's not going to work for me at all," you know. And
the energy clearing, yeah. You're just like, this guy's nuts and I don't want to do it. And I was like, you're not meant to put it in your ears and go for a walk. It's really not how it works.
No, that didn't work.
I love that.
So I think that's fine. The book, The Queen, was it Queen
Code?
Queen Code. I think I'm probably 50-50. I got some takeaways from that.
Yeah, you didn't love it.
I didn't love it, but it was okay.
Would you recommend, what would you recommend, which kind of people would you recommend to take the coaching? Because for you, it wasn't about weight loss, which I liked.
No, it's not. And it wasn't about I've got loads of hang-ups in my life. You know, I wasn't heavy with stereotypical type. I think I was just heavy with life, and I just needed a way through it. So it wasn't because I was overweight. It wasn't because I was depressed. I think I was just I think I was, probably to your point, I was probably successful in business, but something was missing in my personal bit, and I just felt disconnected.
Yeah.
And I like to feel healthy, and eating wasn't doing it as much anymore. And it was kind of like, do I need another, you know, juicing program, or do I need it? And as you said initially, you know, I don't think it's about a quick juicing program. I think it's more about all of you. And I think that's why I think the program probably suits anybody who's just looking to enlighten,
feel better.
Yeah, just mental, personal health, you know.
Thank you. That was great. Thank you so much.